find a partner. Anyone, I don't even care. Anyone that is willing to tag with you, what are you doing?
If you want to enter our new Xbox and PS5 giveaway, all you have to do is subscribe and leave a comment. We'll be picking a subscriber to win out of the comments. WWE has had to change up a number of things on the fly this year, but the move to the Thunderdome has at least allowed the promotion to go ahead with some of the angles it was holding off till it could move out of the Performance Center. WWE sure has a lot planned for the rest of this year, so I'm D-Wicked from Watch WWE, and here's 10 big plans and rumors the company has going forward. Number 10, The Fiend versus Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns made his surprising return in the main event of SummerSlam, taking out the newly crowned Universal Champion, The Fiend, as well as Braun Strowman. He soon established himself as the biggest heel on the blue brand, aligning himself with Paul Heyman and winning the Universal Championship at Payback. Since then, The Fiend and Reigns have been largely kept apart, with Reigns headed for a showdown with Jey Uso of all names at Clash of the Champions. And Wyatt is busy introducing new characters to the Firefly Funhouse and helping Alexa Bliss turn to the dark side. The idea of a heel Reigns defending the gold against a face Wyatt is super enticing, and according to Dave Meltzer, it's still the end game for the Blue Brand's mania. Meltzer reported that the Fiend and Roman Reigns feud is far from over and being saved for a date later on. Odds are that the feud will pick up steam sometime around the road to WrestleMania, with Wyatt probably dropping several cryptic hints about his next opponent towards the end of the year. It just remains to be seen if Reigns will drop the gold, prompting a face turn down the line, or if he continues to reign supreme as the tribal chief of SmackDown.
Oh my God.
Number 9, a big match planned for the Hell in a Cell main event. The feud between Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship has taken center stage on Raw for the last several weeks. A backslide pinfall victory for the champion at SummerSlam has given way to a rematch that is scheduled to take place at Clash of Champions. McIntyre versus Orton is expected to be the main event of that pay-per-view. This is not altogether that surprising. Randy Orton needs a marquee feud to keep him busy while Edge is recovering, while Raw's shortage of main event heels means that McIntyre only has so many people he can feud with over the title. If this rumor turns out to be true, then odds are that their clash at the Clash will not be booked to have a clean finish, setting up an inevitable rematch. WWE could also go the unexpected route and put the gold on Orton at Clash of Champions, which will give McIntyre trying to win the gold back in hellish structure.
Are you kidding me?
Number 8, updated plans for the next draft. WWE usually schedules at least one draft per year that shakes up the WWE roster across its shows. This year's draft was initially expected to take place sometime in August, with NXT slated to be part of the draft as well. The draft was then postponed to September, and now it's been moved even further down the calendar. It could very well end up being postponed once more, as a large chunk of the WWE roster is still available for programming. The last draft took place in October 2019, as SmackDown found a new home on Friday nights on Fox. A number of trades have taken place over the course of the year anyway, with AJ Styles moving to SmackDown and Mustafa Ali and most recently Mandy Rose being drafted to the Red Brand. Then the inclusion of NXT in this year's draft would make this edition truly historic. Number 7, Murphy versus Rollins. When Seth Rollins first adopted the Monday Night Messiah shtick, he recruited Murphy to join his cause. Austin Theory also briefly aligned himself with the Messiah, but while the Theory and AOP are no longer part of Rollins' vision, Murphy remains standing. For the last several weeks, Rollins has been embroiled in a feud with the Mysterios, putting over Dominic in a big way at SummerSlam and on Raw, even if he beat the young star on both occasions. WWE's teased a fracture in Rollins' relationship with Murphy on the Red Brand, and it looks like that'll be the next Rollins feud on Raw. Their alliance has grown relatively stagnant, and Rollins is yet to have an extended run as the Messiah by himself. With the Mysterio storyline done and dusted, Rollins will be in need of a new opponent. Turning his frustrations on Murphy would set up the feud perfectly. The matches between both men will be nothing short of phenomenal, and will continue to feature Rollins prominently on Raw while pushing Murphy as well. Rollins has already feuded with the WWE Champion Drew McIntyre, and a move to the mid-card would be a step down to the Messiah, so this feud feels like it would be the best choice for everyone.
Buddy Murphy and the Monday Night Messiah, Seth Rollins! Well, how about it?
Number 6, SmackDown's Mystery Woman revealed.
Her name is Mystery.
You're a mystery, SpongeBob. Get rid of it.
For the last couple weeks, Friday Night SmackDown's been teasing the arrival of some new mystery woman. After the first vignette aired, fans speculated that this could either be a returning Eva Marie or perhaps NXT's Chelsea Green. However, after the second vignette aired, it looks like the identity has already been discovered. On Twitter, a fan noticed that the tattoo on her arm is the exact same one that belongs to, it's Carmella. After losing the SmackDown Women's Championship ages ago, Carmella hasn't really done anything of note. She slid down the card before being taken off programming for large periods of time altogether. It looks like WWE intends on pushing her to the blue brand once more, this time with a new gimmick. It would also explain Carmella's extended absence from Friday Night SmackDown, as she hasn't been seen on the blue brand since late April.
It's either you or mystery.
I knew I should have named her Debbie.
Number 5, Otis can't cash in. WWE swerved pretty much all of us when it came to choosing Otis, of all members, to win the Money in the Bank briefcase. The big man had been one of the bright spots on SmackDown leading to the event, but few fans could have thought he would actually get a championship match. His run with the briefcase so far, almost as it always goes, has been nothing short of a disappointment. WWE's done nothing to position this guy as a threat to anyone, and he hasn't been on programming for several weeks at a time. Fans have speculated that Otis will cash in on the tag team champions, which would actually kind of make some sense, as he is still very much part of heavy machinery. And we saw last year that other gimmick matches like the Royal Rumble can be cashed in for titles we didn't think about, such as the NXT Women's Championship. Over the last couple weeks, The Miz and John Morrison have tried to steal Otis's Money in the Bank contract. They've been outsmarted by the big man time and time again, but when fans got a look at the contract, it looked like Otis couldn't even cash in if he wanted to. The contract is from 2015. This could easily just be an oversight on WWE's part, or the promotion is setting up a storyline where Otis can't cash in his contract even if he wanted to. The Miz also teased the possibility of a loophole in the contract that could be exploited provided he get it in the hands of his lawyer. Either way, it would be a disappointment.
Find a partner. Anyone. I don't even care. Anyone that is willing to tag with you. What are you doing?
Number 4, Ivar out for longer than expected. On the September 7th episode of Raw, Apollo Crews and Ricochet teamed up with the Viking Raiders to take on the Hurt Business in 8-man tag team action. During the match, Ivar picked up a cervical injury after a suicide dive. WWE first reported that he was immediately transported to the hospital and is expected to make a full recovery. On an episode of Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer spoke about the entire incident and said that the injury is far worse than WWE is letting on. He said that doctors are still debating if Ivar will require surgery, calling the injury significant. This is obviously bad news for both members of the Viking Raiders. If Ivar is expected to spend a significant chunk of time off programming, then odds are that Eric will be pulled from TV as well. Unless, of course, WWE plans to have Eric work as a single star during Ivar's absence, and yeah, that's not gonna happen. He's gonna lose one match on Raw, he's gonna get shunted down to Raw Underground and lose to the Hurt Business a couple times, and then he's, I don't know, probably out of the company.
WWE, they sent out this report that Ivar suffered a cervical injury, which sounds serious.
Number 3, Ronda Rousey? Ronda Rousey had one fantastic rookie year for WWE, which came to an end with her being pinned in the main event of WrestleMania 35. Soon after her initial departure, it was reported that Rousey had picked up an injury and would keep her on the shelf. And she also had plans to supposedly start a family, which would keep her out of the squared circle for the foreseeable future. Teal Piper, daughter of the legendary Roddy Piper, shared a few pictures on her Instagram account, which shared her training with Ronda Rousey in a ring. Rousey, who's a big fan of Roddy Piper, is obviously close to Teal as well. Them training together could indicate that Rousey is prepping for an in-ring return soon. After leaving WWE, Rousey had stated that she would never work full-time for the company again, pretty much because of the fans. Number 2, backstage reactions to WWE's third-party ban. WWE was very deservedly criticized for announcing that its talent could no longer use their wrestling names on third-party platforms such as Twitch or Cameo, even YouTube. It was an extremely controversial decision that led to WWE coming under fire from fans and industry pundits alike. In the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer spoke about the backstage reaction to the announcement, and it was bad. Wrestlers are understandably pissed, especially in the current state, as they've seen the income from WWE fall drastically due to the lack of live events. The company stated that the wrestlers will be able to continue streaming on these platforms under real names, but that has not stopped fans from stating that WWE is just taking advantage of its roster being labeled as independent contractors once again.
Yeah!
And number 1, Raw struggling without Paul Heyman. The decision to remove Paul Heyman as the executive director of Raw came as a surprise to some, especially considering the fact that he was doing a pretty decent job on the red brand. Raw has struggled in his absence, as reports state that Bruce Pritchard is being stretched too thin across Raw and SmackDown. Pritchard is believed to be creatively spent, and coming up with angles for 5 hours worth of programming is taking its toll on him. This has led to Raw announcing a number of matches at the last minute because Vince McMahon hadn't gotten the chance to read the script and approve the angles creative had pitched. It remains to be seen if WWE will appoint someone else to reduce the burden and eventually turn scapegoat, or if they'll just muddle through with uninspired angles on the red brand as per the usual. And those are 10 big WWE plans and rumors for 2020. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments down below. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel and notifications, ring that bell.